Hey folks, everything new under the sun. Today we're going to be talking about digital currencies, and this is the one thing that is popping up all over the news right now, and it is in large part because of what is happening around the world. Now, the first thing was the convoy and the truckers in Canada, where they froze accounts, and then the people who donated to the convoy tried to go to cryptocurrencies, and that was the cryptocurrencies weren't frozen themselves, but switching them back to fiat currency was frozen, and you couldn't do that, and the police were tracking it everywhere. Now, what they can't control is cash, assets, or providing food and supplies, and they want to control all that. So they're going to move to a digital currency, and it's going to solve a lot of problems. Of course, if we don't have cash around, that's going to limit the spread of COVID or whatever the next pandemic is, right? So you want to get you don't want cash transfer back and forth. The other thing is, as we're in this economic collapse, world where things are going downhill very quickly, they want to print money out of thin air without repercussions and very fast, and get it to the consumer very fast and control it so they know where it is. And they can do that with digital currency. They can't do it with hard cash. The other thing is that cash is simply very expensive to create, manufacture. The dollar bills, the coins, they take manufacturing, they take production, they take metals, real physical metal that they have to mint and stamp and get out to consumers through banking systems, and it requires trucks to transport it. Well, they want to get rid of all that expense simply by going completely digital. And we are seeing that. And so when the Antichrist comes to power, he's going to be able to control the whole world system, to the point where if you're not accepting the mark of the beast, you won't be able to buy or sell. Now, the only way to get there is to remove assets, to remove fiat currency, rather cash, physical cash, and by that, get everybody onto a digital standard, so that if you are doing something that the government doesn't like, the world government, they can shut you off. They can keep you from interacting in the economy and buying and selling. And that's exactly what the Bible says about what's going to happen in the last days. Now, along that line is this whole CBDC, or central bank digital currency. Now, Biden has come out and said that they're looking into digital currencies in the United States. We're going to look at also in Canada here. This is an article from Canada. FinanceMagnets.com, Bank of Canada and MIT to work on joint CBDC. So what's this about? The Bank of Canada and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have announced Wednesday that both parties have reached an agreement to collaborate in a 12-month research project on central bank digital currency. And this is well underway in the United States as well. This article is dated March 16th, 2022. It says, according to press release, the central bank will work with MIT. If I can scroll down there. The page is locking up for me. There it goes. Initiative to explore how advanced technologies could impact the potential design of a CBDC. And if we had a digital currency in Canada and all buying and selling was done through digital currency, how fast could they have shut down the truckers? If there was a digital currency across the world and Russia stepped out of line, how fast could they shut down everything related to Russia with the click of a button, if digital currencies were involved? When other currency methods, other agreements, when gold and silver are used and trading of assets like commodities, wheat, etc., it's hard for the world and the governments of the world to control, a country like Russia. And so going to a digital currency would eliminate a lot of that trouble. Central bank digital currencies are digital tokens similar to cryptocurrency. They don't want to do cryptocurrency because that's not owned by them. That's not controlled by them. They're going to create their own. It says they are pegged to the value of the country's fiat currency. Now, as soon as it's all digital, and as soon as the whole world goes digital this way, it no longer has to be pegged to the country's fiat currency. It can be pegged to some central fiat currency. And then with the click of a button, they can switch it from the country's fiat currency over to the central fiat currency. Once it's digital, everything happens very, very quickly. And so this is the big stepping stone, going from the physical cash to the digital currency. It says fiat money is government issued currency that is not backed by a physical commodity like gold or silver, and that's exactly 100% true. That's why they can print it out of thin air right now, and no one can really do anything because it's not backed by anything. So there's no repercussions other than hyperinflation, which actually is coming down the pipe. It is considered a form of legal tender that can be used in exchange for goods and services. So really, digital currency at this point won't be much different than fiat cash, physical cash in your wallet. It's not going to be a lot different in terms of it's effectively an IOU that promising that the person who receives it or takes that for, say, a dozen eggs can then give that to somebody else in exchange for some other asset, hard asset. Traditionally, it says fiat money came in form of banknotes, so your physical cash dollars and coins. But technology has allowed governments and financial institutions to supplement physical fiat money with a credit-based model in which balances and transactions are recorded digitally. Again, if they want to get money to you, they can send it to you and inject it right into your bank account. If they want to garnish your income, garnish, that's not the right word. Anyways, if they want to take some of your income, they can do it. They don't have to ask. They just pull it right out of your account digitally. And when everything's digital, it's much easier for them to control you. So what are the goals of the bank currencies? The main goal of CBDCs is to provide businesses, consumers with, quote, privacy, transferability, convenience, accessibility, and financial security. So if you're a Canadian trucker going to Ottawa, it's going to be very convenient for the government and accessible for the government to shut you down. And in terms of financial security, if they deem you a financial security threat, it's going to be very convenient and accessible for them to completely shut you off. CBDCs could also decrease the maintenance a complex financial system requires, reduce cross-border transaction costs. Yeah, if we go to a world currency or something digital that can be converted digitally, which takes no effort, then yeah, it's a lot easier. Also, if they get rid of coinage, that saves the mints. They can shut down the mints at that point. The Canadian mint, the U.S. mint. There's no need for them anymore because all you need is a computer and a server rack to basically house all this digital currency. So, and it says, and provide those who currently use alternative money transfer methods to lower cost options. So if you currently use alternative money, maybe cryptocurrency, you could move to lower cost options, maybe in the way of whatever the CBDC is, move to the country's digital currency. That's what they want you to move to, and they're going to legislate this. They're going to force it, basically. Here is an article on how it relates to Russia-Ukraine. Russia-Ukraine, could central bank digital currencies help countries bypass sanctions? So this is an interesting idea, and this is likely where Russia will go with China. China is already long on the way to moving to a digital currency. Once they go this way, then they can quickly get away from the U.S. dollar. They can do digital transactions as long as they have internet access, on a VPN or whatever secure way in terms of communication with another country. No longer do they have to go through physical currency exchanges, etc. They can do it country to country, transfer this digital, bits and bytes, ones and zeros, and be able to potentially get around sanctions. So because they can do this, and they can already do this with cryptocurrencies, there's going to be a time where the governments of the world come together and say, you know what, to get around all this, we need to all use the same digital currency system. That way we can control every country, every nation, every person who tries to get around it. Several countries led by the United States have imposed a slew of economic sanctions against Russia following the attack in Ukraine last month. The measures include exclusion of systematically important state-owned Russian financial institutions, out of the correspondent bank system, exclusion of certain Russian banks from SWIFT, denying Russia access to international capital markets, and freezing Russian bank assets. It says these eruptions have triggered a debate about central bank digital currencies, and specifically whether they can provide an alternative payment method that can bypass such payments. And it goes on talking about it. But yeah, Russia is bypassing it by going to dealing with China and dealing through the yuan and the ruble instead of going through the SWIFT payment system, instead of going, transferring through U.S. dollars, etc., to get to China. So this is an article about which CBDCs will launch first in 2022. This is this year. This was written on January 3rd. And of course, the top of the list, and it doesn't talk about the US or Canada, but the top of the list, interestingly, is China. China seems to be way ahead of the pack to release its ECNY digital currency by February. The People's Bank of China announced the news in September 2021. And pilot testing of digital currency have already taken place in cities such as Shenzhen, Shanghai, Henan, Shaanxi, and Dalian. The ECNY can be used to purchase goods online and offline, as well as pay electricity bills, tolls, transport fares, according to the People's Bank of China. So this is already in progress there. It is tested, working, and I think this is going to go quickly throughout the rest of the world. So countries are now talking about it. Canada's talking about it. The United States is talking about a digital currency. As the economy gets worse and worse, there will be more weight behind the politicians and the cry for a digital currency so that they can control everything. They can stop fraud. They'll be able to put sanctions more quickly and effectively on countries that step out of line, i.e. Russia. And they'll want to come together as a world, a whole world to do this, so that no countries are left out, so that they can really penalize those countries that are doing something that whatever the world government decides is wrong is happening. And again, when we talk about the last days and the Antichrist figure coming to power, someone who will save us from economic collapse and war and famine, this is one of the things that will help this world leader seemingly help everybody. Maybe he will inject $1,000 into everybody's bank digitally through these digital currencies very quickly, very fast. And that will, at least for a short period of time, make everybody think everything is awesome and that he's resolving actual issues. When actually he's not. He's not actually resolving any debt issues. In fact, you've just become a debtor to the creditor of the world government, effectively. You've been enslaved by having to buy into this system, which the government is forcing upon you, this digital currency, which means you don't own anything anymore. You're going to be in debt to the government for all this. And they're going to know exactly what you're doing, what you're buying. Oh, are you buying ammunition? Are you buying guns? Well, that's against government rules. They're going to shut you off. Are you saying things on social media against government? Well, your social credit scores goes down. Maybe you can't buy a plane or a train ticket anymore. That's what they're doing in China. And they have been doing that in China for, I think it's been years now. And this is, the control that we see in China is going to be what the Antichrist is going to bring to the table times 10 in the near future, I believe. And there's just... this idea of digital currency is really the tell and the indicator that we are very close to the last days. And it's not going to take much for them to kind of flip the switch on for this digital currency, move everybody to it, and then the Antichrist will be able to step on the stage. And basically at that point, we're at the beginning of the 7-year period. So very close to that. I think things are going to move very quickly now. As you see, 2022 proceeded as March 2022. Things are moving quickly. We moved from the pandemic, which is all but over now, moved to the convoy, which spread across the planet, and then to distract everybody from that and take attention from it. How much have you heard of the U.S. convoy? It's not making a lot of news channels as far as I'm aware. and steam is being lost there, they quickly moved over to World War to distract everybody from the economic trouble that's happening in the world. This is going to happen until we bottom out or we get to a very, very desperate point where the whole world is ready to accept the Antichrist and this world digital economy, and to where the Antichrist will deploy a mark of the beast system, where no man may buy or sell save he that has the mark. This system where if you don't worship this leader, you will not be able to participate in the economy. You may not be able to buy food. You will not be able to pay your mortgage. And you will not be able to drive your car because they won't give you your license because your social credit score has been damaged. Just like the truckers who went to Ottawa, their bank accounts were frozen. They were shunned. They could not buy anything or sell anything in Canada during that period. Now, a lot of that's been removed for them, but this is exactly that. That was a test, and it worked so well for them. They're doing that to Russia right now as we speak, even to the point of cutting internet off to everyday Russians who are not in support of this. They don't have access to Visa and MasterCards anymore. And in fact, their bank accounts were pretty much shut down. They had to start doing transactions through Chinese banking systems. So even if you're not in agreement with your government, you could be penalized. And the Russians, the innocent Russians, are being penalized. And so this is just an example of what the Antichrist is going to have the full control and power to do and to wield in the last days when the world government comes into place. So that's a very interesting thing to see coming upon us right now. This push in March of 2022, this real push, this real testing, and I think it's going to roll out very, very quickly from now on. We'll see how it goes. We'll see where we are next month at this point in time with digital currencies. We'll see if it's starting to come out in the news and that the governments are starting to push this kind of thing. Note that they want to roll into this the idea of, pass, a digital ID. Now, this is a KTDI.org, known traveler digital identity. They're trying to, whoops, you can't see this. They're trying to move this to this in New Brunswick, this digital identity. And let's go to the main page here. Unlocking the potential of digital identity to secure and seamless travel. Incorporated into this is, of course, going to be your vaccine status. This digital ID that will go along with your digital currency that they're going to roll out. Who are the partners? Well, Canada, World Economic Forum. Look at these partners here. Airports are interested in this digital ID to know who you are, what shots you have, and via this, they will know if you have a frozen account or not. And this is all coming to a country near you and a province near you very, very quickly. This digital ID, again, going to be rolled into the digital world currency, and ultimately, at the end of the day, it's going to be rolled into this thing we know of, which is described in the Bible as the mark of the beast brought on by the Antichrist. Folks, I'll leave it there. We are going very, very fast. Pay attention. Be prepared. Things are going to get hard. Even if you are prepared, things will get hard. And that's why you need to have your heart right in the first place with Jesus Christ, so that you know what's coming. You're not surprised. And you know that you have your treasures in heaven, not on earth, where they're going to be destroyed, taken away, and will rust, etc. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.